Students of University of Jos have thrown their weight behind the proposed strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASUU, describing the move as timely. The ASUU leadership had begun mobilizing its members across universities nationwide following the government's silence after a strike notice was served to relevant authorities, including the Minister of Labour and Employment, Maigari Dingyadi. Speaking during an interactive session between ASUU and the Students' Union Government SUG leadership, the students noted that strike action has always been a last resort for lecturers. Adamusa tells us more in this report.
The interactive session, organized by the ASUU Students' Relations Committee, aimed to brief students on the ongoing issues between ASUU and the federal government, as well as the union's position on the planned industrial action. President of the Students' Union Government, Pajok Kangyang, declared the students' support for the strike during the session held at the ASUU Secretariat, University of Jos. According to her, the academic staff have exhausted all peaceful avenues, including several warnings and ultimatums, to get the government to meet their demands, but to no avail. Hence, the students backing the strike.
I think that looking at the education system in general in Nigeria, it's not difficult to understand that Nigeria's education system is honestly very poor. As Students' Union Government President, I've been to faculties where there are no seats. Sometimes there's no water in the hostel. There's no lights for a couple of days. There are numerous challenges, and I do not think that the government does enough in terms of funding the universities. I believe that these strikes or these necessary actions, especially because I understand that ASUU works on 3 C's. The first C is consultation, consolidation, and then confrontation. So having heard them explain what they have done in the last 6 months, how they have tried to discuss with the federal government, arranged meetings with them, sent in documents, it's been a back and forth of so many weeks and so many months. I believe that the strike action is the last resort, always for ASUU. And if it's gotten to the point where they're doing the last resort, it means federal government on their own part haven't done what they're supposed to have done.
Chairperson of ASUU UniJos, Professor Julbe Molwus, said the engagement with students was crucial, given their stake in the education sector. He explained that the union had explored every possible options to avoid the strike, but was left with no choice but to inform students of the impending action.
At a university, without expecting enrollment, you cannot employ lecturers. You cannot employ anybody. So nobody, no matter how unaware they are, will undermine the critical stake that the students hold in the university system. And we are mindful of the fact that they feel negatively affected when we go on strike. And it is important for us to make them understand the level of sacrifices that we deploy in our actions, that we are not unmindful of the delay they suffer. And that is why whenever we resume strike, we have sleepless nights, restless days, to ensure that we complete our work and they graduate.
Earlier, the convener of the session, Dr. Jimamlar, explained ASUU's continuous struggle to ensure the federal government fulfills its obligations to the union and the education sector.
The government has abandoned primary and secondary education. Standards have fallen. It is the same thing they want to do to our universities. Virtually every rich person in Nigeria has a stake in a private university. They want to drop the standard to the level that the private universities will now flourish. That's where we're going. That is what ASUU is standing against.
ASUU hinted that it may declare a 1-week warning strike any moment from next week, after which an indefinite strike may follow if nothing is done. The union also urged students to use all available channels to appeal to the federal government to address their concerns before it is too late. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.